At DataRobot, I have the privilege of working hand in hand with AI leaders and data teams worldwide. What I hear repeatedly is that while many have completed their first generative AI prototype, most have yet to realize tangible value with it. Common challenges are emerging among teams, and surprisingly, many resemble those we encountered with predictive AI. These include starting with the wrong problem, spending too much time building without getting to a prototype where you can actually evaluate it, and a lack of trust in the outputs, which prevents adoption. At DataRobot, we prioritize a value-driven mindset when building our AI platform and serving our customers. And it's no different with how we're approaching generative AI. Our unique combination of predictive and generative helps our customers unlock meaningful value. You'll get to hear more details about this from Rosalia at Baptist Health South Florida in just a bit, but let's talk about what's possible first. When I step back and look at what's possible, generative AI provides meaningful context. That is powerful, but combining it with predictive AI adds an assessment of quality around the likelihood something will happen in the future. For example, if an applicant for a loan asks a chatbot whether they qualify, generative AI can take the context of their account, their history, their details, call a predictive model on the probability of default, and respond conversationally. Or in another example, generative AI can be used to create content while predictive AI augments the experience by giving an assessment of that content. Let me show you an example of what I mean in our new GenAI product offering. This is an example of a generative AI chatbot for sellers. As with predictive AI, unlocking value with generative AI starts with your stakeholders. DataRobot is the underlying engine for creating an app like this one. The generative AI example will accelerate the time it takes for a seller to complete a request for proposal, also known as an RFP questionnaire. It's an extremely time-consuming process with questions like, what is your data encryption policy for data at rest and in transit? Or how do you partition your data for use training and validating AI models? The questions can range from business to security and can be quite technical, requiring experts from many areas of the company. Now imagine a large enterprise with thousands of sellers having to answer 40+ questions like that. With a seller chat app built using generative and predictive AI, we can both automatically answer the questions and assess whether the answers are good, our odds of winning the proposal, and get human time focused on the right place. Building an app like this is easy with DataRobot. The first step is to map your data into a format that the large language models can safely incorporate. This process is also referred to as building your knowledge base. In the DataRobot AI platform, you can use our hosted notebooks to create your knowledge base. In our example of the RFP scenario, our knowledge base would be populated with things like your technical documentation, previous examples of completed RFPs, and your overall security and trust package. With DataRobot, you can connect to your data wherever it is, whether it's PDFs, PowerPoint, Slack, whatever, pull it in, parse it, and turn it into vector embeddings that can run in a vector database hosted directly within our product. There are a lot of best practices for converting raw data to useful content in a vector database. Once done, we're able to power generative AI recipes like Q&A retrieval and semantic search with your data right inside DataRobot. The flexibility and openness of our platform gives you control over your data, control over which LLM you want to use, the ability to address privacy concerns, and lets you control the costs of your projects. With DataRobot, you will eliminate the need for designing, configuring, managing, and scaling infrastructure, including your GPU hardware. This enables a single user to go from data to a shareable app without requiring extra expertise. The end result, you and your team get to a generative and predictive app in hours to days instead of months. In our notebook, you can quickly go from experimentation to production in just a few lines of code. With DataRobot, we wrap everything together for use in production, so you don't have to do that too. Up front, requirement to manage compute, adjust scaling rules, management, dependencies, provision, and control access, all that complexity is taken care of under the hood, but remains configurable as well. Building GenAI use cases is one thing. However, ensuring trust and usage among your business stakeholders is another. Let's go back to our RFP example. As users start testing and experimenting with the RFP app, They might realize that several of the auto-generated content responses might not be quite right and require manual adjustment. This is one of the most common challenges with AI. Users not being able to trust the AI enough to adopt it. In this case, end users would likely need to carefully review each and every auto-drafted response before submitting the RFP. Many RFP contain hundreds of questions, and it's hard to think of a worse way to establish trust than for your project to give inaccurate or useless information. This is where combining predictive AI and generative AI makes a difference. With DataRobot, you can rapidly train, evaluate, and deploy a predictive model using automation. This predictive model can be used to assess the quality of each RFP response. It's pulling context from the GenAI plus an assessment of quality from predictive AI based on your exact data. If we flip to the app, you can see the responses generated are also given a score from the predictive model to help you and your users prioritize what content needs to be looked at more carefully. With DataRobot, iterating and fine-tuning your original knowledge base with your business stakeholders, then going full circle back to production is easy. In this example, as sellers update the content that was automatically created, that updated content can be used to refresh the original knowledge base, thereby improving the future quality of the auto-drafted responses. This ability to rapidly enhance and adjust with your business stakeholders reduces barriers to adoption, improves your application, and the impact it can have. Now, what about managing your AI assets? DataRobot's AI production makes operating and managing a hybrid, generative, and predictive AI environment simple. Once you deploy your generative AI app, you automatically benefit from the governance and monitoring capabilities of our AI production to answer questions like, how are these models doing? Are they on track? Are they responsive? Are they on track with our expectations? Or when did we last deploy the model? Who did it? Why? This gives you visibility and oversight over all of your AI assets. By using our custom metrics and DataRobot predictions, you can monitor things like toxicity, truthfulness, and so much more. Monitoring generative and predictive AI requires metrics specific to each use case. With DataRobot, you can create use case specific metrics using standard NLP guardrails, user-defined rules, and more powerful, pre-trained predictive models based on your exact user feedback. Use case specific measures can ensure your stakeholders stay up to date on the value created by your GenAI apps, while also alerting you to when attention needs to be given over time to improve the underlying content. DataRobot makes it easy for you to define and add these custom measures to monitor them directly. The seamless integration between our notebooks and AI production makes it easy for you to volley back and forth between what you built and what you're monitoring in production. You also don't have to build an app. You can easily leverage tools your users use daily. For example, if your team lives in Slack, then your users can ask questions directly there and get the information they're looking for. Leveraging complex predictive plus generative workflows in the context of your team's daily life drastically accelerates the time to value. With this integration into Slack, we have an assistant that provides contextual value immediately right where the team needs it. This is just a small taste of what you can do with our generative AI product offering. There is so much more we can dive into and so much more coming. Reach out to your DataRobot team to learn more. But to wrap it up, everything you need to build, deploy, manage, govern, and get value out of your generative AI projects is all built into DataRobot. It all works out of the box, but if you need help, no problem. Part of what makes DataRobot unique is that we have an entire team of applied AI experts ready to help you through this journey.